Welcome. Trauma is my jam, and by that I mean I help you understand what your body is doing. Let's make sense of it together.
Friends, it's not about people not wanting to stop. It's about what their nervous system is trying to regulate. And that's why someone can say, I'm done, and still find themselves going right back. One of the biggest misunderstandings around addiction is that it's simply a behavioral problem. And that if somebody really wanted to stop, they would. But from a trauma-informed perspective, let me assure you, that is not what's happening. Because addiction is not about seeking pleasure. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about regulating distress. It's about bringing that person out of that state of discomfort and helping them feel safe and regulated in their body again. And when the nervous system is overwhelmed or activated or shut down, the addiction provides relief. And if a substance or behavior reduces that discomfort, even if it's temporarily, even if it's going to cause issues later on, the brain takes note that it reduced the discomfort in this moment. And then your brain will seek to repeat that. Let's look at this in real life. I want you to think of a moment of high stress. Okay, someone's had a difficult day, they're overwhelmed, they're activated or emotionally drained. And in that state, their capacity for reflection is lowered. Their capacity to connect with that logical prefrontal cortex part of their brain is diminished. Their ability to pause is reduced. And the brain goes, this doesn't feel good, but I know what will make me feel better right now. So it reaches for something familiar, something that's worked before. And from the outside, that can look like choice. But from inside the nervous system, it's a response to the state. And listen, I need you to understand that during moments where you are activated or triggered, and your alarm system's going off in your brain, and you start seeking comfort from it, the logical part of your brain, not working. It is not working. So you can't think about the consequences. So let's talk about what actually supports change here. This is not just about stopping the behavior, but changing what happens in the moment before the behavior takes over. And here's a simple framework that you can use if this applies to you, or you can try to help a loved one if it applies to them and they're open to the information. Okay? That's key. People get choices. So this is called pause, name, support, shift. So the first one, pause. When you feel the urge, even that, especially that very first moment, pause. Not to stop it completely, just to interrupt that automatic pattern of reaching for. So you feel the urge, pause. Number 2, go to name. Gently ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is this stress, overwhelm, shutdown, release, fear, anger, sadness, joy, celebration? Because the urge is often not the problem. It's the signal to let you know that there is a problem, and the problem is what you're feeling. So pause, name it, and then move into step 3, support. Instead of going straight to the behavior, offer your body a small amount of support first. This could be stepping outside for some fresh air, calling a friend, drinking a glass of water, moving your body for 30 seconds and shaking it out, one of my personal faves, focusing on your breathing. Just giving your body a small moment of support. And again, this is not about fixing. You're just giving your system another option and another second to hopefully allow that logical thinking part of your brain to come back online. So, you've paused, you've named it, you've supported it, and now the shift can happen. After that small support, then decide what to do next. Sometimes the urge will still be there, and that's okay. In fact, in most times it's going to be. But what changes over time is this. Your system learns that it has more than one way to respond because you didn't go and reach for the substance or the behavior right away. You broke up that automatic response, which is what we're trying to do. Because when you can break up that automatic, I feel triggered, I have the urge, I reach for relief, I do. When you can interrupt that cycle, you can start adding new alternative ways to move through the process. And that's where the real change starts. And remember, change happens over time. Your system learned that the behavior or the substance was a great way to respond. But now you're interrupting that response and allowing it to learn something new. Here's the key. What changes over time is this. Your system learns that it has more than one way to respond, that it doesn't need to reach for the behavior or the substance, and that it can learn that, you know what, sometimes there's other ways to respond too. And so I have different options. And that's where real change starts. Not in forcing control, but in creating options. Because your nervous system learns through experience, not logic. So every time you pause and support your system first, you're building a new pattern, which will allow you to have different responses and make different choices. Remember, friends, the more our system experiences safety, the less it needs to rely on behaviors or substance for relief. And that's where sustainable change begins. Now, if you want to learn more about trauma-informed healing and how the nervous system actually works, I invite you to subscribe